At 75, many people can't get off the floor without help. They grip railings just to climb stairs. They avoid playing with grandchildren because they're afraid of falling. Yet, in the mountains of Okinawa, Japan, women in their 80s squat effortlessly to garden. They climb steep paths. They sit and rise from the floor multiple times a day without using their hands. The difference isn't genetics, it's not luck, and it's not the exercises your doctor probably recommended. Today, I'm going to show you the movements that actually prevent the loss of independence and why almost no one is teaching them. Here's what most people don't understand about aging and mobility. You don't suddenly lose the ability to move one day. It happens so gradually you barely notice, until suddenly you do. First, you start using momentum to get out of chairs. Then you grab the counter to balance while putting on shoes. Before long, you're rearranging your entire life around what feels safe. But here's the truth that changes everything. Mobility isn't something aging takes from you. It's something inactivity slowly erodes. And the movements that preserve it, they're not the ones most seniors are doing. When researchers started studying populations with the longest, most independent lifespans, places like Okinawa, Sardinia, and certain regions of Greece, they noticed something fascinating. These weren't people doing formal exercise routines. They weren't going to gyms or following workout programs, but they were moving in very specific ways every single day. They squatted to work in gardens. They sat on the floor and stood back up dozens of times. They walked on uneven terrain. They carried groceries up hills. They reached overhead to pick fruit. And they did all of this well into their 80s and 90s. These movements weren't exercise to them. They were just life. But those movements were training their bodies in ways that most Western seniors completely miss. Now, you might be thinking, well, my doctor told me to walk more. I'm already doing that. And walking is good, don't get me wrong. But here's where most well-meaning medical advice falls short. Walking alone doesn't prepare your body for the movements that prevent falls and maintain independence. Think about it. When you walk on a flat treadmill or a smooth sidewalk, you're moving in one direction, on one plane, using the same muscles in the same pattern over and over. Your body gets very good at that one specific movement. But life doesn't happen in straight lines on flat surfaces. Life is bending down to pick up something you dropped. It's stepping over obstacles. It's catching yourself when you trip. It's getting out of a low chair at a restaurant. It's standing on one foot to put on pants. And those movements require completely different muscles than the ones you use for walking. Before I show you these movements, do me a quick favor, tap that like button right now. Not for me, but as a bookmark for yourself, because you're going to want to come back to this video, and that like button makes it easy to find later. Plus, it helps YouTube show this to other people who need it. Alright, let's talk about the muscles your doctor never mentioned. The same problem exists with those seated exercise machines at most gyms. You know the ones. You sit down, adjust the weight, and push or pull in a very controlled motion. These machines are designed to isolate specific muscles, which sounds good in theory, but isolation is exactly what your body doesn't need for real-world independence. When you reach for something on a high shelf in your kitchen, you're not isolating your shoulders. You're using your legs for stability, your core for balance, your shoulders for reaching, and dozens of tiny stabilizer muscles you've probably never thought about. When you step off a curb, you're coordinating balance, strength, reflexes, and spatial awareness all at once. Those stabilizer muscles, the ones that keep you upright when you stumble, the ones that help you catch yourself before you fall, they're almost never targeted by traditional senior fitness advice. And that's the hidden danger. So what are these missing movements? What are the stabilizer muscles everyone's ignoring? Here's the breakthrough insight that changes everything. Your body has two types of muscles. There are the big, visible muscles, the ones that make you look strong. Your biceps, your chest, your quads. Those are your prime movers. They create force and motion. But then there are the stabilizer muscles. These are smaller, deeper muscles that most people have never heard of. They don't make you look strong, but they keep you upright. They maintain your balance. They protect your joints. They prevent injuries. And most importantly, they're the difference between catching yourself when you trip and ending up in the hospital with a broken hip. Think of it this way. Your prime movers are like the engine of a car. Powerful, important, impressive. But your stabilizers are like the steering system and the suspension. Without them, all that power is useless. You can have the strongest legs in the world, but if your stabilizer muscles are weak, you'll still fall when you step on uneven ground. You'll still struggle to balance on one foot. You'll still feel unstable going downstairs. And here's the problem. Almost every exercise program for seniors focuses exclusively on those prime movers while completely neglecting the stabilizers. That's why someone can be relatively strong but still have terrible balance. That's why falls happen to people who exercise regularly. They've been training the wrong muscles. Now that you understand what's been missing, let me show you the movements that actually build the stability and strength you need for independent living. I'm going to walk you through 6 movements in a very specific order. We're starting with the safest, simplest movement and building toward the most powerful. Each one prepares your body for the next. This isn't just a random list of exercises. This is a progression system designed to rebuild your confidence and capability step by step. The first movement is the sit to stand. And before you think this sounds too simple, let me explain why this is the foundation of everything else. Every single day you sit down and stand up dozens of times, from chairs, from the toilet, from your car, from the couch. This movement determines your independence more than almost anything else. If you can't stand up from a chair without using your hands, you've lost a critical piece of your autonomy. This movement builds your quads, your glutes, and your core all at once. But more importantly, it trains the coordination between these muscle groups. Here's how to do it properly. Sit in a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. Lean forward slightly from your hips, not your lower back. This is crucial. Then drive through your heels and stand up in one smooth motion. The key is to avoid using momentum. Don't rock back and forth to build speed. That's cheating your muscles out of the work. Lower back down with control, like you're sitting on something fragile. That lowering phase is actually where you build the most strength. If you can't do this without using your hands yet, that's perfectly fine. Use a chair with armrests and use your hands as little as possible. Each week, rely on them a little less. This movement improves your ability to get up from any seated position, which means more confidence in restaurants, at social gatherings, anywhere with seating. The second movement is the wall push. This trains your upper body pushing strength, but more importantly, it teaches your body to create force while maintaining full body stability. Stand facing a wall, about arm's length away. Place your hands on the wall at shoulder height, slightly wider than your shoulders. Keep your body in a straight line from head to heels. This is important. Don't let your hips sag or your bottom stick out. Now, bend your elbows and lean toward the wall, keeping that straight body position. Push back to the starting position. This movement improves your ability to push yourself up if you need to get off the floor. It strengthens your ability to catch yourself if you fall forward. And it builds the shoulder stability you need for reaching and lifting. The common mistake here is letting your hips move independently from your shoulders. Your whole body should move as one unit. This teaches core stability, which is essential for balance. As you get stronger, step further from the wall to increase the challenge. The third movement is the single leg stand, and this is where we really start building serious balance. Stand next to a wall or sturdy counter for support. Shift your weight onto one leg and lift the other foot just an inch or two off the ground. That's it. Just stand there. It sounds simple, but for many people, this is incredibly challenging at first. Your ankle, your knee, your hip, and your core are all working together to keep you stable. Start by just touching the wall for light support. Hold this position for 10 seconds, then switch legs. As you improve, reduce how much you're touching the wall. Eventually, just have the wall nearby for safety, but don't touch it at all. Then progress to holding for 30 seconds, then a minute. This movement directly translates to everyday activities: putting on pants, stepping over obstacles, getting in and out of the shower, climbing stairs with confidence. The benefit here isn't just physical, it's psychological. When you can stand on one leg without fear, your confidence in your balance increases dramatically. And that confidence means you move more, you're more active, and you continue improving. Quick question for you. Have you tried standing on one leg today? Seriously, pause this video right now and test it. Just 10 seconds on each leg. I'll wait. Go ahead. How did it feel? If you wobbled or needed to grab something for support, you're not alone. That's exactly why you're watching this video. But here's the exciting part. This can improve in just 2 weeks of practice. Drop a comment below and tell me which leg felt stronger. Let's see if there's a pattern. The fourth movement is the heel-to-toe walk, also called the tandem walk. This challenges your balance in a completely different way. Imagine you're walking on a tightrope. Place one foot directly in front of the other so your heel touches your toes. Then step forward, placing your other heel against those toes. Walk 10 steps forward, turn around carefully, and walk 10 steps back. Keep a wall or counter within reach for safety. This movement trains dynamic balance, meaning balance while moving. Most balance exercises are static, just standing still. But real life requires you to maintain balance while in motion. Walking across a parking lot, turning to look at something, navigating a crowded room. This exercise builds the stabilizer muscles in your ankles and hips that keep you upright during these movements. It also improves your proprioception, which is your body's awareness of where it is in space. Better proprioception means faster reflexes when you stumble and better coordination in general. The key cue here is to look forward, not down at your feet. Looking down actually makes balance harder. Focus on a point straight ahead. This trains your body to balance using feel, not sight, which is exactly what you need in real-world situations. The fifth movement is the step up, and this is where we build serious leg strength and stair climbing confidence. Find a sturdy step, ideally 4 to 6 inches high, to start. This could be a stair, a curb, or a step platform. Step up with your right foot, driving through that heel. Bring your left foot up to meet it. Step back down with your left foot, then your right. That's 1 rep. Do 10 reps leading with the right foot, then 10 leading with the left. This movement builds your quads and glutes more intensely than sit-to-stands because you're lifting your entire body weight up and controlling it down. It directly translates to climbing stairs, stepping onto curbs, getting in and out of vehicles. The common mistake is pushing off with your back foot to help yourself up. That defeats the purpose. The leg on the step should do all the work. Your back leg is just along for the ride. As you get stronger, use a higher step. Eventually, you can add a light weight, like holding a water bottle in each hand. This movement is powerful because stairs are a major barrier to independence for many seniors. The more confidently you can handle stairs, the more places you can go and the more activities you can participate in. The sixth and most powerful movement is the assisted squat. This builds on everything you've learned so far. Stand facing a sturdy counter or the back of a heavy chair, something you can hold on to. Hold the edge with both hands. Step your feet shoulder width apart, toes pointed slightly outward. Keeping your chest up and your weight in your heels, bend your knees and lower yourself down as far as comfortable. Think about sitting back into an imaginary chair. Go as low as you can while maintaining good form. Then push through your heels to stand back up. This movement builds tremendous leg strength, improves hip and ankle mobility, and trains the exact pattern your body uses to pick things up from low surfaces or the floor. It's also the gateway to being able to get up from the floor independently, which is a critical safety skill. The key cue here is to keep your knees tracking over your toes, not caving inward. Your chest should stay proud, not rounding forward. And you should feel this in your legs and glutes, not your lower back. If you feel it in your back, you're leaning too far forward. As you build strength, use your hands less for support. Eventually, you'll be able to squat without holding onto anything. This is the movement that separates those who maintain independence into old age from those who don't. Now, you might be wondering, does this actually work? Is there real science behind this? Research consistently shows that resistance training and balance exercises produce significant strength gains and marked reduction in fall risk in older adults. Studies have documented noticeable improvements in daily confidence and measurable increases in functional mobility. People who consistently practice these types of movements show better outcomes in maintaining independence compared to those who only walk or only use machines. The key word there is consistently. These movements work, but only if you actually do them. Which brings us to the most important part. How do you actually implement this in your daily life? Before we get to that, I need to address something crucial: safety and confidence. If you're watching this and feeling intimidated, that's completely normal. Maybe you haven't exercised in years. Maybe you've already had a fall and you're scared it'll happen again. Maybe you have existing health conditions that make you cautious. All of that makes perfect sense. Here's what I want you to understand. Every single one of these movements can be modified to match your current ability level. The sit to stand can be done from a higher chair with armrests. The wall push can be done closer to the wall with less effort. The single leg stand can be done with full support from the wall at first. The heel to toe walk can be practiced with one hand on a counter the entire time. The step up can be done on a step as low as 2 inches. The assisted squat can be a very small range of motion at first. You're not competing with anyone. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're building your body back to capability at your own pace. Use support whenever you need it. A sturdy chair, a counter, a wall. There's no shame in using support. In fact, using appropriate support is smart. It prevents injury and builds confidence. Start with small ranges of motion and short hold times. Even 5 seconds on each leg for the single leg stand is progress if it's more than you could do yesterday. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is consistency. Because slow progress that continues is infinitely better than ambitious plans that you abandon after a week. So here's your daily routine formula. These 6 movements take about 15 to 20 minutes total. You can do them all in one session, or you can split them up throughout the day. Morning and evening, for example. You don't need special equipment. You don't need a gym membership. You can do everything in your living room with a sturdy chair and a wall. Here's what consistency looks like. Pick 3 to 5 days per week to start. Not 7. You need rest days for your muscles to recover and get stronger. Monday, Wednesday, Friday works well. Or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Choose days that fit your schedule and stick to them. For each movement, start with just one set of 10 repetitions or one hold of 10 to 30 seconds for the balance movements. That's it. You're not training to exhaustion. You're training to return tomorrow. This is the most important concept. Traditional fitness culture teaches people to push until failure, to feel the burn, to work until they can barely move. That approach doesn't work for building lifelong habits, especially for older adults. Instead, you want to finish each session feeling accomplished but not wiped out. You should feel like you could do a little more if you had to. That's the sweet spot. That's what keeps you coming back day after day. As weeks go by, you'll naturally progress. Maybe you add a second set of each movement. Maybe you increase your hold time on the single leg stand from 20 seconds to 30 seconds. Maybe you use a slightly higher step. Maybe you rely a little less on your hands for the squat. These small progressions add up to massive changes over months, but you're never pushing to the point where you dread the next session. The moment exercise feels like punishment, you'll stop doing it. So we keep it manageable, even enjoyable. Some people like to do these movements while watching the morning news. Some do them right after breakfast as part of their routine. Some do them in the evening while dinner is cooking. The specific timing doesn't matter. What matters is that it becomes a non-negotiable part of your day, like brushing your teeth or taking your medications. And here's something powerful. These movements start to change how you feel in your body within just a few weeks. You'll notice getting out of your car is easier. You'll realize you walked through the grocery store without thinking about your balance. You'll pick something up off the floor without that moment of hesitation. Those small victories are everything. They prove to you that your body is still capable of getting stronger, more stable, more independent. And that realization changes how you see aging itself. Because here's what this is really about. This isn't just about exercises. This is about rejecting the idea that decline is inevitable. Our culture has convinced us that getting older means getting weaker, slower, more dependent. We're told that falls are just part of aging, that losing mobility is natural, that needing help with basic activities is something to expect. And yes, aging is real. Your body changes. But weakness isn't the inevitable result of aging. Weakness is the result of inactivity. Your body is designed to move. It's designed to adapt. It's designed to get stronger in response to appropriate challenge, regardless of your age. Study after study shows that people in their 70s, 80s, even 90s can build muscle, improve balance, and increase strength. Not just maintain what they have, but actually improve. But only if they challenge their bodies appropriately. The movements I've shown you today are that appropriate challenge. They're safe enough to start wherever you are, but progressive enough to keep making you stronger. So, let me ask you this. Which movement will you start with today? Will it be the sit to stand, rebuilding the strength to get up from any chair with confidence? Will it be the single leg stand, proving to yourself that your balance can improve? Or maybe the step up, preparing yourself to climb stairs without fear? Pick one. Just one. Do it today. Right now, if possible. Don't wait for Monday. Don't wait until you feel more motivated. Don't wait until conditions are perfect. Start now with whatever you can do. Because independence isn't something you protect by being careful and avoiding challenge. Independence is something you build, maintain, and earn through consistent movement. Your future self, the one who's still gardening at 80, still playing with great-grandchildren at 85, still traveling at 90, that version of you is built through the choices you make today. Not huge, dramatic changes, small, consistent actions repeated over time. If you found this valuable, consider sharing it with someone you care about who needs to hear this message. A parent, a friend, a neighbor. The greatest gift you can give someone is the knowledge that they have more control over their aging than they've been led to believe. And if you want more practical, science-backed health guidance like this, subscribe to this channel. I create content designed to help you stay independent, capable, and confident at any age. Not through hype or false promises, but through proven movement strategies that actually work. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.